Island is a rich ecosystem with a fascinating geologic history and a curious human one, being home to a variety of animals and geologic formations unlike anywhere else on Earth. It is highly deserving of a national park recognition.
So Cumberland Island has a lot of wildlife, most popularly known the feral horses that the Carnegie family brought over in the 1880s. Unfortunately, they are non-native, so they're outside its native range as a result of deliberate or accidental introduction by humans or other natural causes. So they consume between 200 to 400 tons of vegetation each year and can remove up to 98% of vegetation in areas, and this can cause a lot of damage and threaten the biodiversity of native plants and wildlife. Armadillos are also found on the island. They migrated across the Rio Grande and then spread to southeast United States, including Florida, and then they swam over to the islands. Unfortunately, a lot of armadillos are killed in car crashes every year and are killed from cold temperatures since they have very little body fat. And sea turtles, the beach of Cumberland Island accounts for 25 to 30% of the statewide nesting total. In the last 4 seasons, Cumberland has produced over 1,800 nests. Loggerhead sea turtles are listed as a federally threatened species. There's 4 species of turtles on the island: the leatherback turtle, the green turtle, the loggerhead turtle, and the Kemp's ridley.
The island has an interesting geologic history. It was formed during the Ice Age, and it is part of the Appalachian Mountain Formation from those years. It's made up of Pleistocene sediments, and mostly rocks are deposited near the waters. It's affected by the Pine Mountain thrust fault, and in current day, the island is about 17.5 miles long. You can see the change over time, as much of the formations were more exposed during the Pleistocene era, and now the sea level water has risen, and less of the island is shown. And now the island makes up part of Camden County, Georgia. It's home to an array of different plant life, and
the human history is also incredibly fascinating. The island was first settled by the Mocama tribe of Indians before being colonized by the Spanish and being renamed San Pedro. The island was then abandoned around 1683 when disease and pirates ravaged the population, leaving virtually no one else living there, before it was, of course, recolonialized by James Oglethorpe, an English explorer. Oglethorpe renamed the island Cumberland Island after the son of King George III of England, but with the Revolutionary War looming, that wasn't long for this world. It was then passed through the hands of Revolutionary War heroes, plantation owners, and even the Miller family, partners to Eli Whitney, who invented the cotton gin, an instrumental part of American industrialization. Finally, in the 1880s, Thomas Carnegie, brother of the more famous Carnegie, purchased the island as a vacation home, and it was instrumental in its conservation. In 1954, after he had passed, his family invited the National Park Service to evaluate the island, with it becoming a national seashore in 1972 through the Nixon administration, being finally recognized for its important history.
So, Cumberland Island is Georgia's largest barrier island. It contains 3 different key systems, being the salt marshes, maritime forest, and the beachfront. The salt marsh is one of the most productive ecosystems in the world. This one in particular has had little disturbance over 350 years. It has 2 distinct major zones, a high and low marsh zone that's delineated by the salinity and the vegetation type. The maritime forest acts as a protective barrier for the salt marsh condition, or ecosystem. It's adapted over the constant exposure of the salty conditions. And the undisturbed beachfront has natural mature sand dune systems. It also contains fossils and the remains animals like clams and horseshoe crabs. It also has federally protected plants called sea oaks that help stabilize the dune sea ecosystem.
With a variety of unique species, interesting geologic developments, and a curious human history, it is undoubted that Cumberland Island is deserving of national park recognition. And while it is recognized as a national seashore, it is still developed to this day, with people forming different homes and apartment complexes on the island. So it's important that it receive national protection, as opposed to simply being its shore as a protected front. We believe that the Cumberland Island is vital to the American history and to its ecological part in this world.